Okay, so let's say this is a peer-to-peer coaching, and we've had the formalities where we've sent information about each other, and we've agreed we're going to have 3 months we're going to be working together, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first session, I believe, in any coaching engagement, when you first meet your client and you're thinking, am I going to work with this person for the next 3 months or whatever it is that you're going to draw? The first session is a relationship building, clarity, bringing clarity to where we're heading. And you want to see if there's chemistry. Are you actually going to want to work with this person for 3 months? I've known people in the first session said, actually, you're a brilliant coach. I just prefer to work with someone else. This is not about you. If you hear that feedback, it is not about you. It really is about that person needs to work with someone else that will work better with them. Doesn't mean you can't coach, right? And might be vice versa. You might say that for the client. So some of you may experience this as you do your peer-to-peer coaching. You might find that there's a lot more chemistry with some people than others. Please listen to this. Listen to what's happening and ask yourself questions. How come? What is it about this person that I get better chemistry, right? So this first session, Simran, is to go in and establish 3 things. So I'm going to do that straight away with you in a very quick kind of few questions. Number 1, Simran, what would you like to get out of 3 months working together? What does the end outcome look like? You don't have to answer me this right now, right? But think about this for a second. So if you're going into a peer-to-peer coaching session, one of the biggest mistakes coaches make at the beginning is they think coaching is about single sessions. Coaching is about accumulation of single sessions that will bring the client to the outcome that they are looking for in a timeline. And that timeline is typically minimum 3 months because it takes that long for certain transformations to take place. So that's why the marketplace, understands this. 3 months is kind of a typical period to start with. So if you're asking yourself, what is it that you want to get out of this 3 months? And every session is an alignment of that outcome. So if Simran says, I want to double my income by the time I get down to 3 months in the job I do, every single session is in service of that. And if you're veering off, you need to renegotiate because you've just changed the agreement. So that's the number 1, Simran. The first session, number 1 thing is about where are we heading and make an agreement. Number 2 thing is what are the conditions that we're going to work with one another? Like what are the certain minimum things that we want to make sure it works for both parties and agree them. And as a professional, you would want to write them down and email it to one another or text one another just to make sure it's black and white, because that's what the format you want to be getting used to. And number 3 is about the chemistry. You may want to ask some questions and, what are the value systems? Why is this important to you? They may want to ask you some questions. And if those 3 things hang together, that's the first session success, right? And then the next session, you start building. Every session is towards that end goal, right? So so here's the structure you might want to use, right? Strength-based coaching. Number 1, what is the goal of this session in alignment with the overall goal of this program? What's the goal of this session? So you want to understand what the outcome is in order to be able to help them get to that outcome. So in every session, you want to understand the outcome and get to that outcome with your client. Number 2, in every single session, you want to start using your coaching competencies. And one of the things I would say you want to start with, and we'll do this more next week when we get into it. So Simran, if I'm coming into a session with you, I would like to build trust. Because if I've never worked with you, that first session we had was the first trust building session we had. I need, as a coach, to build enough trust that you will open up and talk about things that you may not have otherwise talked about. Because that's what we're accessing. We're accessing people's mindset and their stories. And if there's enough trust, you can give them some good feedback. If there's not enough trust, they might not listen to your feedback. In fact, they may get hurt. But if they trust you, they will listen to that feedback and think about it. So you want to build trust, and that's competency number 4. So we talked about competency number 3, which is the agreement. Competency number 4 is about trust building. Competency number 5 is presence. That means come to the session with 100% mindset that you're in service to that person. You're not in your own thought process. You're not bringing your own baggage and your own stuff. What you're doing is you're coming into the process of being present for them. So being present. Number 6 is your active listening. Number 7 is where you want to start thinking about what is the awareness. How do I evoke awareness? You may have heard something that you want to give feedback to or observe and put it in front of them. They need to become more aware of who they are and what they want and make better decisions. That's the outcome, in alignment with the goal that they had for the session. And then finally, they want to come out of the session with some actions. Right? That's the setup. That's your 8 competencies we're going to go over. Competency number 1 and 2 is who you are being while you're doing that. So it's the ethics and it's the mindset.